What it do, what it do. Welcome to another one over here, Game Chopping TV. Tap in, like, comment, and subscribe because we chopping this game over here, man. Had to tap into this one. Man, there's at Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm saying, the restaurant Chick-fil-A fast food place. They have different little ways of doing things up there. I think like on Sunday they're closed. Um, different kind of stuff. I guess one thing too is that when police officers come there, police officers are able to eat for free. And so I guess you would go there with your, uniform on, badged up, and everything. You go in there and all they do, I guess, is actually, what do you have in the day? You tell them, and I guess it's free of charge. You know what I'm saying? It's free or something like that. You can look this up and stuff. But of course, you have those who got issues with different things nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the race relations, race issues, racism, period, is like up. You know what I'm saying? Like up. And so this is what we, dealing with, you know what I'm saying? And guess who are the main targets of racism? Of course, black Americans, you know. And the thing about it is, you have these other people, that people of color stuff is out the door. It doesn't exist, it's lies. Because everyone in America has been made white except for black people. You know what I'm saying? Black Americans. Other than that, all this people are white. What do you mean people of color? Mexicans are considered, white. Arabs are considered white. The Asians, all these people. So so that's what I'm saying. When it comes to racism, well, heck, everyone's white. Who is the victim? The black people. You know what I'm saying? The black Americans, always. Because you got black immigrants who, you might as well allow them to check white too, because they don't have our history, lineage, and background, so they'll try to talk just as raw as any other non-black person or any other immigrant for that matter. But so it's back to the story is, what I'm saying, we're the target of it all. You know what I'm saying? And this is why this is definitely due, and everybody got a problem. Well, only the demons and evil people got a problem with it because they don't like you anyway. So, so this black guy here, this black cop here, he goes into the Chick-fil-A with his two or three other white cops. They get in line and everything. You know what I'm saying? The white cops, they're noticed and recognized as cops, and get their meal for free. The black guy, I guess when he gets up to the line, they're giving him a total. You know what I'm saying? They're giving him a total, and that's the thing about it. It's like everything is rule, everything is law, except for when it comes to black Americans. Somebody always got to go against the grain and act like, you black people want something for free, but then isn't it supposed to be for free? They'll act like you're aiming to get something for free, but really, that's a set thing for cops, police officers in general. It's not about the black person wanting anything. He just so happens to be a cop, but because he's black, he can't get his meal for free because how the anger, the mentality, evil, vitriolic mentality that non-blacks have towards us. It's like they'll make it an inconvenience because he's a cop and expects to be treated like the other cops who went, they got their meal for free, just so happen to be white. Oh, in America, if you're white, it's just so. And they run up against other white people, run up to other white people. Oh, thank you for your services. A breath of fresh air. The black person come in. 1683. You know, not giving him for free. You always want something for free. You know, it's all it's vitriolic. You know, it's not this. It's not like, hey, this guy's a human being as a cop. He's cops get their meals for free. It doesn't matter what color. Then they the first one to say, y'all always bring up race. And that's how you know how evil people are and non-blacks are, because you see what's going on, but then you blame us to say that we're making everything about race all the time. But this is really y'all the ones that's doing it. But then, you know, it's always a thing with them, with YT people in particular, and or just all non-blacks, immigrants who want to be them and all. That's always a thing when it comes to black people, and you know the issues that we got to deal with. But it's the non-black people that's putting us through these issues, in wasting time, in resources and everything. That's who should get the, you know what I'm saying? And so it just lets you know where these people stand anyway. And it's like, you know, these people can't believe in heaven or hell, God or the devil or something like that, or they just don't care, because to have their actions, good grief, where do they expect to land? It's when it's all over, as far as I'm concerned, good Lord. But, you know, so, you know, that's how the way everything works is. The way everything works is everyone is like, okay, so you have the YT people. They did what they did towards us. They started bringing a whole bunch of immigrant groups in to overshadow us, but we still exist. And then, even though they oppress those other groups that they bring over, what the other groups say is, hey, well, at least we don't have it as bad as those black people. And so, and the YT people almost, it's in like an agreement with immigrants. Like, hey, if you can prove to me that these black people here are your common enemy, with, you know, if you can make commonality with me by showing vitriol towards these black people and giving them a hard time too, that lets us know that, hey, you're wink wink, you're really on our side, and you know, we will just be mean to them. We'll just give them a hard time, which right now, and see, it's, you know, that, and so literally it's like a low key agreement between white people and every other immigrant group that comes here, is to say, hey, those black people, they're our enemy, and if you be on our side and on our team and against them, we won't be as mean to you as we'll be to them. And then, you know, they're all for it. You know, there's such whole ass people that you can be. Those immigrants are all for it. And so it's a big thing of everybody, you know, trample on us and try to stomp on us and give us the hard time for acceptance. And so really that way white people won't be as mean to them as they see them trying to be to us. If that just, you know, that's really the raw truth of everything. Immigrants are not here for all that hard work and stuff. They're gonna work, but they know their real mission. But now it's not even starting to matter though. You know what I'm saying? Now it's almost, immigrants can try to be like, you know, screwy towards us. It doesn't even matter right now, because, you know, they getting that work, and I don't feel sympathy for them either. You know what I'm saying? It's they getting that work, you know. But that's what's going on here. So, like, the person who charged him, I wouldn't be surprised if they were an immigrant. But they could be YT, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were an immigrant. Just saying. But they made the black man pay. I said a lot to say this. Let's get into this video real quick. Let's hear what happened. Fair use, by the way. Fair use. Fair use.
I was kind of humiliated and embarrassed. I felt like it was a racial thing, and I felt like he was singled out.
Only on 9, claims of racial discrimination at a Chick-fil-A. A Clover police officer said that he had to pay for his meal, but that his 3 white colleagues did not.
Their claims did garner an apology from the owner of the Augusta restaurant where this happened. Our South Carolina reporter Tina Terry spoke to officers about their experience.
So yeah, this is in Augusta, Georgia. Well, that's not far off. You know, it's one of those Georgia, of course, one of those places too that you can, you know, you probably better expect some racism. You know what I'm saying? Which is, she shouldn't have to, but the thing is, you better be prepared for the ignorance.
I was kind of humiliated and embarrassed, you know, at the whole situation, because it seemed like it was a racial issue to me.
Clover Police Sergeant Tracy Reed had that experience at a Chick-fil-A restaurant in Augusta, Georgia, while on a work trip a few weeks ago. He and 3 other CPD officers, all of them white, went into the restaurant for breakfast.
So, they went in there for breakfast. Okay. But as it says, they all went in there together. So, whoever was in there, you know, checking people out, they saw that he came in there with these guys in their badges. He honored the 3 white guys. Thank you for your service and all that. The black guy comes up. That's all he sees is the, you know, his vitriol he just couldn't hide it. And it really kind of goes to show to me, because no matter how friendly white people act like they are with you and cool they are with you, they make an eye contact with each other, especially when a black person is around, and it says a lot that you might not understand. And I feel like in that moment they locked eyes with each other, the non-black white person, whoever it was, you know, and it warranted an okay for that cashier person to do something funny to that black person and not honor it. I'm telling you, they're just very funny when a black person is around. You know what I'm saying? They'll act like they're cool, but they have a eye contact thing that, you know, that stands for stuff. I'm telling you. And I feel like in some part of eye contact with one of these officers, it felt, you know, emboldened that one dude. It was like maybe one of them kind of gave him an eye contact, like, oh, we don't really look at him as one of us. Yeah, they'll get on behind his camera. It's almost like somebody being caught for something they know they shouldn't be doing. That's how white people are. You put the camera in their face, they get to talking with some sense. Oh yeah, I was upset. Oh yeah, we all came in together and all, yeah. But I think somebody gave that white person some kind of look that made him feel comfortable, made that person feel comfortable to do what to do something funny. They do that. I'm telling you, they do that. If that white person felt like that, what makes you think these white cops don't look at him any different? Even though he must be qualified, he's obviously qualified, and they know he's probably qualified and more qualified than them, but they're the ones who have the whole system in their hands, and they know that if they don't, they can make up anything and get rid of them all they want, if they really want to. And so, and really in the back of their minds, they could be like, hey, yeah, he's here, yeah, but he's not really one of us. We don't really look at him as one of us. And what did that mean? One of us, YT. White supremacy. You know, and that's what I feel like, though. I feel like, because white people do that. They do that with each other. I feel like one or more with that black man there, and you may not notice it or not, but they gave them some kind of eye contact that kind of that wrote the black guy off, to where that cashier felt emboldened to do something to show his allegiance to white supremacy. You know, slick, low key. It's just the black guy, he, you know, wrote a letter to Chick-fil-A and, you know, got this stuff, you know what I'm saying, on the forefront now. But that's what I feel like. I feel like one of them made eye contact and it was enough to make that cashier say, hey, you know, he's not one of them. And this one of those officers, somebody made me feel comfortable to let me know that he's not really one of them. But he's there. So they just pull some funny stuff. Now watch this.
We all came into the restaurant together. We rode together, came in the restaurant together, all had the same uniform on, stood in line together. There was never a time that we were not together while standing in line.
They say all three white officers were offered a complimentary meal, which they say is often offered to law enforcement at the popular restaurant chain. But when Sergeant Reed got to the register, he had to pay.
Mm-hmm.
He said he had to pay for his meal, and
look at this.
It infuriated me. And I told him, I said, "You want me to go say something?" And he's like, "No, I don't want you to cause a scene."
And you see that? But you see what the black guy said? I don't want to cause a scene because, and you know, that's the thing about it. Because that's all white people want to do is just whine about us telling the truth about how they are. And then they act like we're the ones that's causing a problem or causing a scene. You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, you're sagging your pants. You're sagging your pants. Oh, it's how you dress. Oh, it's how you dress. This guy was a police officer. And look, none of that. That's what I say. You might as well walk around however you want, because it doesn't matter when you're black. That stuff doesn't matter. All that sagging your pants. Stop sagging your pants. Stop wearing this. Stop that. Stuff don't matter, man. Dude had on a dang on police uniform, a law enforcement uniform, and guess what? It didn't matter. Still had to face racism. Still had to, be reminded that it doesn't matter. You know, if you're a cop, preacher, whatever you think can get you away from white supremacy. Nope. Nope. You might as well be walking with your pants sagging. I mean, if you ain't got to, but I'm just saying, you might as well. If you think that makes a difference, you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? You tripping. This is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing people see. That's what. And once you realize that, then you'll probably be able to get out of the way of stuff before it kick off. But yeah, that's how that happened, though. That's how that happened. I just feel like I don't believe his cop friend. Well, I'm gonna say something. The cops I was with, I feel like somebody gave that cashier some kind of eye contact that dismissed the black dude. He felt comfortable enough to show his allegiance to white supremacy.
But I could tell by the way he looked that he just looked down at his plate and he looked really embarrassed and humiliated. Which really made me mad.
Eventually, Reed wrote this letter to Chick-fil-A corporate demanding the chain retrain employees at the Augusta location and strengthen corporate-wide policies on compliance with civil rights laws. But Reed and the other officers were not satisfied with the response from the Augusta store manager, which included 2 cards for free meals.
They said that it was perceived that we were embarrassed or that it was a racial incident, which I didn't like, because I know it wasn't perceived. It actually happened.
He's not the only one who perceived it. We all perceived it that way, and it's not even perception, it's what happened. It was a racial issue.
Now, that letter from the store manager included an apology, and it also stated that the person who processed the meal was a team leader who doesn't normally work behind the register. The manager called this incident a mistake. Reporting from Clover, Tina Terry.
Now, my opinion, the people at Chick-fil-A they're on some stuff like, basically, the black guy didn't get his meal for free. And if it was just as simple as that, it could be looked at like that. But no, that person, whoever was behind the register, they don't need to be. If they're holding on the racial hate, on the job, which so many places that need to be investigated. That's all I can say on that. But this is what's going on. We still have idiots out here. That's just messing up everything. You know what I'm saying? Messing up Chick-fil-A name and all that. Just got one little idiot. Chick-fil-A need to rid that person. In my opinion, screw all this. Because you got, these people, it's a whole company here, and you got this one little punk that's sitting up there, making it hard for people. And making the brand look bad. But it is what it is, man. I said what I said, though. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. It's a whole janky situation to me, and I just know how YT people and other non-blacks move. Me, but y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Another one over here, Game Chopping TV, man. Tap in, like, comment, and subscribe, because we chopping this game, man, over here.